All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're doing well. Just want to go over the first couple problems from each of these sections here as you guys are going to be doing a review for me today. And so let's get it right into it here. Taking a look at the first one, find the slope of each line. Now, remember that slope is rise over run, and that's how you do the slope. So, taking a look at number one, I want to choose 2 points that are actually on the line and on the grid. Okay, so the grid would be like a point here, 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 here. So any whole number. So if I look here, there's a point. I could go here. There's a point. There's a point. And there's a point. They're all on the grid. And so it doesn't matter what point I choose. If I go up, that's a positive 1. If I go to the right, it's also a positive movement. That would be 2. So the rise over the run would be 1/2. Okay? But let's say I didn't choose this point. Let's say I chose this one and this one. Does that change anything? Okay? Well, this would be up 2. And the run would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that reduces to 1/2 as well. So again, it does not matter which one you choose there. Okay? Just a quick review for number 2, because I know this one could be, problems like this, they're completely vertical or horizontal, can be difficult. If I choose 2 points in this line, it doesn't matter what 2 I choose. Okay? The rise is 1, 2, 3. The run, it's not going anywhere, is 0. And if you plug that in there into your calculator, you're going to get an error because you can't divide by 0. How many zeros go into 3? We don't know. How many 1s go into 3? Well, 3 1s go into 3. How many 2s go into 3? Well, 1.5 2s go into 3. How many 3s go into 3? 1 goes into 3. 1 3 goes into 3. And so as I look at this, I don't know the value of 0. It's not even there. So how many of those go into 3? We don't know. We call that undefined. Okay? Undefined slope. I don't want to find myself on an undefined slope when I'm out skiing. That would not be good. All right, so you want to finish up that section there. Again, just counting the rise and run. Make sure that you're counting it as a positive length or a negative length. You know, if it goes up and to the left, it's negative. Up and to the right, it's positive. So just keep that in mind. If I look at number 6, again, I can choose 2 points on this line here and just count. The rise is 0. The run is 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can just plug that into my calculator and I get a 0. 0 slope, okay? There is no slope there. All right, numbers 9 through 11, find the slope of the line that passes through each pair of points. Well, if you remember the slope formula, and I'll give that to you here just to make sure we've got that down, is going to be the following. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1, the change in the y's, over the change in the x's. So if we go ahead and do this, x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, okay, we can just plug that into our equation and figure out what the answer is going to be. So if we do that, and I'll do it right here, y sub 2 would be 2 minus y sub 1, that's 0, over x sub 2, that's 3, minus x sub 1, that's negative 1. Well, that's going to give us a 2. 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 plus 1 is 4. So we have a 1/2 slope there. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, what if I were to switch these guys? And I were to switch these guys. Would that change anything? And, well, we've looked at this before, I'm sure. Well, if I switch them, that would make negative 1, the y value. That would make 0 first, minus 2, the other y value. And then it would be negative 1 minus 3. So if I look at this, negative 2 over negative 4 gives me still a positive 1/2. So it doesn't matter which way you go, you still get the exact same answer there. Okay? All right, let's take a look at the next one. Find the slope and y-intercept of each line, and then graph the line. Okay? So the big thing in this part is making sure you remember the slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. Now, if you remember, what is the y-intercept? Well, it's where it crosses the y-axis. And so if I look at this, my slope for this one right here is going to be negative 3 over 1. That's my slope. My y-intercept, my b, is going to be positive 2. So when I go to graph this, I'm going to graph my y-intercept first, positive 2, and then I have a negative 3 slope. I can do negative 3, positive 1, or I can do positive 3 and negative 1. Either way, you get the same exact answer. It's all aligned on that slope. Okay? If you guys want to borrow my straight edges in the side of the room, that's completely fine with me. I just ask that you take care of them, don't break them, don't wave them around, as I know a lot of you like to do. Okay? I come back, I have broken rulers, I'm not going to be very happy. Please treat my stuff with respect as I would treat yours. Alright, let's go to the back side. Don't think there's really a whole lot there that I really need to go over. If you have questions, I'm sure there's someone in your in class that can help you out there. But as we look at numbers 30 and 31, I'll do these two with you guys. You want to figure out both the slope and the y-intercept, and then you want to figure out what the equation of the line is going to be. So let's start with the easy part. What's the y-intercept here? Well, it's crossing at the origin. It's going to be 0. And then from there, the slope, if I look at either one of these, the slope is a rise of 2 and a run of 3. Positive 2, 3. Okay? You could also do negative 2, negative 3. And guess what? That comes back to be the exact same thing right there. Okay? So the slope is 2/3. Again, you could have also went from here to here. Okay, this is up 1, 2, 3, 4. Over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 4, 6 still becomes 2/3. Okay? So when I graph this out, y equals mx plus b, I want you to simplify this just to this. Because I want you to know that when you get into algebra, that 0 is there, it's just not present. Okay? When you get into geometry, I want you to know that 0 is there, it's just not present. Okay? Now from here, for this one, the y-intercept is at 1.5. So b is at 1.5. The slope is a 0 slope. We talked about that in the very first section. So as I plug this into my equation, y equals a 0 slope plus 1.5. Now again, I want you to simplify this down to be this right here. Now, why do we call it that? Well, if I go ahead and label these points on this line, this is actually 0, 1.5. This one is 2, 1.5. And this one is negative 3, 1.5. So why do we call this line y equals 1.5? It makes sense, doesn't it? All the y values are 1.5. Okay? So, let's see what else we have here. Is there anything else here? There is not. Okay, so your homework is to go ahead and complete the rest of that assignment there and to turn that in to the sub when you have it done. We will go over that when I get back from vacation.